All right, welcome. This is the February 15th regular meeting of the North Shore Fire Department Board of Commissioners. Our first order of business will be roll call.
Good afternoon. Commissioner Admin,
Here.
Commissioner Pratt,
Present.
Commissioner Byers,
Present.
Commissioner Webster,
Present.
Commissioner Woolham,
Here.
Chief Morris,
Present.
Legal Counsel Richard Davis,
Present.
Lake Forest Park City Council Member Philippa Cassover. I don't see her, nor do I see Kenmore City Council Member Nigel Herbig. And I'm Board Secretary Amy Oakley.
Thank you. And item number 2, public comment.
So I did not receive any advanced requests for public comment, but if anyone would like to make a public comment, go ahead and raise your hand and turn your video on or use the emoji buttons.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Item 3, approval of agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second that, Commissioner Webster.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 4, we'll be moving into executive session. Board Secretary, can you read us the language to dismiss us, please?
Yes, and how long will this executive session be for?
We'll start with 15 minutes and extend as necessary.
Okay, so we are going to move into executive session for 15 minutes pursuant to RCW 42.30.1404 to discuss collective bargaining, and also pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I to discuss with legal counsel potential litigation. It is 5:03. I'll go ahead and pause the recording and open a breakout room, and we'll be back at 5:18. Thank you. Good evening. The board has extended their executive session by 15 minutes, so they will return at 5:33. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for your patience. The board has extended their executive session by 15 minutes. So it is 5:34. They'll return at 5:49. Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you for your patience. The board has extended their executive session by 5 minutes, so they will return at 5:56. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks everyone for your patience. We'll be moving on. Item 5, board discussion and possible action items. Number 5.1, conversation with local 2459.
Hello, this is Brian Ford. You guys hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ford.
Yep. So Jeremiah's unavailable. I just wanted to add that we've had several meetings with the both departments and boards, and they've been very positive and collaborative. And look forward to more of the same. Appreciate you guys' hard work. That's really all we have.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Ford? Okay. 5.2, discussion of Robert's Rules training.
Okay, I brought this to the board. Hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to see the document that was sent to us by Ann McFarland, who offers the training. And so I guess at this point, I would just say, first of all, are there any questions regarding the training, or should we just, so I'll just start with that. Are there any questions regarding it? Okay, and I think we could probably, assuming everybody is okay with the terms of the agreement sent to us by the trainer and the schedule, we could just move to approve that contract. So I will make a motion that we approve the training contract for Robert's Rules training with Ann McFarland.
I will second that.
All right, excellent. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to move ahead with the Robert's Rules training with Ann McFarland. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you for your work on this, Commissioner Admin. Appreciate it. Okay, item 5.3, the MOU on impact bargaining with Local 2459. The MOU has not been finalized, and so no action will be taken this evening, but we anticipate action to be taken at a future special meeting. Any other comments or discussion on that? Okay, item 5.4, battalion chief level service presentation. Chief Morris.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Pratt and commissioners. I'm going to tag team this topic with Chief Cowan from Shoreline, since we are working together on this, and will ultimately be working under their operations. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and then I'll hand off the baton in a few minutes here. You had asked me last meeting to touch on this topic, and this is something that we've talked about for a while. Across the North End, as a cost-saving measure, we've looked at 4 agencies, where from what used to be Woodinville to Bothell, North Shore, and Shoreline, with 1 battalion chief each. We recognized with 4 agencies together, 3 battalions could adequately serve that area. And now we had reduced that at one point in discussions to the inclusion of Bothell, North Shore, and Shoreline, and that 2 BCs could adequately serve that area. And now we're looking at Shoreline and North Shore. And so the question is, what is our level of service that we're looking for, and at what cost? About 24 years ago, right after I was hired, we created this battalion chief position. So this battalion chief position, like most battalion chiefs roles, it's for management of personnel. At the time, we played more of a fire prevention role than we do now, but also in that category, training activities and oversight of the shift personnel. And also unique to ours was our position was major program oversight. So as an example, and that was part of the justification for keeping our administrative staff lean and putting more project management on the battalions, knowing their call volume would be less in a 2-station department. So as an example, when I was battalion on D shift, one of the things I was responsible for was facilities. So that's the maintenance, the repairs, working with contractors, etc. And of course, it's not me doing it. It's everyone I work with doing the work. As an additional example, the remodel at 57, that was my responsibility. So well beyond the normal operations of a battalion. So under our new model, contracting for service, we have discussed and have been looking at, I think we're all in agreement that eventually we want to whittle the battalion down to 1 battalion chief. operationally. And we see that there's cost savings there. And over time, I believe we can get to that position. So what we're really looking at is what is the effective timeline to get down to, through attrition, down to 1 battalion chief. So some of the considerations for the reduction, I'll start with 2021 call volume. So Battalion 151, we have 2 stations, 372 calls in 2021. Battalion 161, Shoreline, 3 stations, they had 842 calls. The busiest battalion in the Zone 1 area, excluding Seattle. Battalion 142 in Bothell, 3 stations, 568 calls. Kirkland, 6 stations, 548 calls. Bellevue, 9 stations, 736. Redmond, 8 stations, 380, comparable to us. And Eastside Fire, 18 stations, 919 calls. So the combining of our 2 battalions into Battalion 161, based on 2021 numbers, we're looking at 1,214 calls for the year. So we will have a significant call volume increase. Another area for consideration is the shift number of the personnel. For North Shore, we had 10 on duty, where Shoreline was 18. So combined, we're looking at 28 personnel and the appropriate oversight of 28 personnel. Included in that is getting to know those personnel. A lot of new folks between both agencies, and getting to know the personnel strengths and weaknesses to be a good leader. We need that. North Shore battalions coming into a new area, Shoreline battalions coming into a new area as well. So the integration of that. For North Shore, it's new policies and procedures. So an acceptable timeline for the battalions before being reduced to the only battalion on shift, understanding and knowing the policies and procedures. And one of the biggest items for any battalion is the staffing and the program. For Shoreline, it's telestaff. We've spoken with Battalion Chief Hochstein, spoke with Redmond Battalion Chief, Bellevue, and Eastside Fire. And bar none across the board, the biggest time consumer for each of those battalions during the day is staffing related, and making sure all staffing is handled. And then it's employee related issues. And all of the battalions across the board say that they wish they had more time to get out to visit the stations other than when they're meeting for training. So to get to know the folks, to spend time with them, and visit each and every station as often as they could. And then another area to take a look at, which is unique to our area, is the geographical layout. We're going from the saltwater of Puget Sound, kind of up in the Woodway area, all the way to the Kirkland border and the Bothell border, wrapping around Lake Washington. So our area is not round with a battalion in the middle. We will have a battalion stationed at Station 63, which is in the middle of the rectangle, but we have some unique geographical challenges with Bothell Way and wrapping around the lake to get to the South Kenmore area. So some other considerations taken in when we're looking at the reduction of BCs. So those are some of the highlights, some of the things going through my mind when I'm looking at how quickly do we want to reduce, because I believe that we are in agreement that through attrition, we do want to reduce to 1 BC. So if you're asking for my perspective on this, what my preference would be no sooner than the end of June. I'd like to carry 2 BCs so we can adequately train in all the things mentioned for both North Shore and Shoreline folks. And one of the other factors is we have acting battalion chiefs. And in this time where the hard bar BCs are coexisting and training together, how do we mentor and prepare the acting battalion chiefs to fill that vacancy once we do go down to one BC and we need to fill it with an actor, if they haven't had any time in the seat because the hard bar battalions have been there, then it's a real detriment to them. And we're not providing the service that I would say is best for our citizens. So we want to make sure that those actors get trained up as well. So I wouldn't reduce, in my opinion, I wouldn't reduce to one BC before the end of June. And in my mind, I could easily justify going to the end of 2022 with 2 battalions as we work through this process. And again, I'm coming from the position of I want to front load the work and the preparation so we do it right, instead of getting as lean as we possibly can as quickly as we can, and then dealing with potential issues down the road. And at this point, I'll transition to Chief Cowan and let him chime in.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. And I agree with pretty much everything you said. We've definitely, evaluated workload and trying to figure out what makes the most sense for the transition. Telestaff is absolutely an issue. It drives a lot of the time out of a day, for the battalion chiefs. We do have some geographical, constraints as well. However, right now we do have an opportunity to attrition down to pretty much that one battalion chief almost immediately. Although even in the proposal that I made, I was anticipating more of a middle of the year type of time frame. And so I do have concerns about what our operational readiness will look like if we all of a sudden flip a switch and expect the legacy shoreline battalion chiefs working in North Shore and vice versa, and the telestaff and all that. It would be great to be able to phase this in. However, I'm also trying to meet the board's intent and direction of, if there's financial savings, how do we maximize those financial savings? If we do the metered out or phased in battalion chief attrition towards the middle of the year-ish, depending on how many positions are promoted right now, because I know there's some vacancies coming up or anticipated vacancies coming up in North Shore. I have a vacancy right now in Shoreline. I anticipate another one in Shoreline by May-ish or June. And again, how these get filled could affect how long it will take to actually attrition down to that one BC. If we, for example, if there was one promotion now at North Shore and when these other things happen, we still might be able to attrition down to one BC around July 1st-ish. But there might even, depending on how the positions are filled, it might even be, all the way, it'll likely be maybe one extra. Again, we're doing a lot of guessing, so I'm sorry that I'm kind of bouncing all over the place because some of this is guessing, and then the next one could be middle of next year. And we have even considered what it would look like if we had, an extra BC on a couple of shifts. How would we operate that way? If we only had one extra BC, how could we operate, that way? And all of these things are kind of up in the air. And I can go into a whole lot more detail on this, but really I think we're just presenting to the North Shore Board because this is absolutely one of the things that you have the purview and the responsibility of setting the level of service that you would like to see. And so Mike and I have talked about this, and we thought that we'd kind of present some of the options to you and then try and get some direction from you as to how do we plan moving forward. I can certainly provide more details if you'd like, but I think I'll stop there and see where you're at.
Thank you, Chiefs. Appreciate that. We'll take questions and discussion at this point. Commissioner Admin.
Yeah, I was the one who requested that this be put on the agenda, and it's just strictly because I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I think my assumption was we're going into this process that some of the savings that we were going to accomplish was to go to one operational BC between the two departments, and that that would be adequate. And I'd had various individuals come to me and just say, let's, are we sure that that is going to be adequate level of service? So that's why I just wanted to, like I said, I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. If the chiefs and your operations people under you say that you think that is adequate, then you are the experts and we need to take your recommendation. If you think that that's too much work on one BC, then I think we need to take your recommendation into advisement as well. Or if you have some in-between plan, like one operational BC and a day shift BC, or I don't know what sort of options you're exploring or considering. I just wanted to make sure that we had a conversation on this topic so that everybody's comfortable with that we're resourcing the position adequately. That was the reason why I brought it up.
Well, thanks. And that's exactly kind of, why we want to have this conversation to make sure everybody feels comfortable. I believe that, and I'm not going to speak for Mike, but I believe that we're on the same page of looking at, again, like he had proposed till the middle of this year, going still with 2 BCs as the model. And that would, if there is, we do have some vacancies and we're likely to have some more vacancies, that would cause some overtime on non-debit days, to fill that other spot, but that would help get both battalions, all battalion chiefs, but familiar with both battalions, and that would give some phasing in over a few months. So I believe that the cost of doing this is actually, we wouldn't start reaping the savings, but we weren't really planning on reaping the savings on this until about the middle of the year anyway. So I actually think that that's probably a good way to phase this in, and we can reevaluate at the middle of the year. But I think at that point, we could do the attrition and end any overtime or actors or whatever we're at that point, and we could start, having those savings. And I do believe that, by the middle of the year, depending on the positions that are filled, we could be down to our one operational battalion chief, but will likely be one extra. And at that point, we can figure out how to best utilize that person and start, again, getting back towards our model. I think long-term, I think we're all in agreement that, one battalion, can sufficiently and adequately cover, the 5 stations, from a scope of work or span of control, standpoint.
Thank you, Chief. Other questions or comments? I'll just add, one second, Commissioner, I'll just add that I'm excited to achieve the financial savings, but don't want it to be rushed. And I'm totally comfortable phasing this process in. If it's July, great. If it's, the start of 2023, I'm okay with that as well. I want the BCs to feel comfortable. And if we get into this process and we realize that, there's too much work to be done, it's too hard, then we can reevaluate. Attrition down, transition, make sure everyone's comfortable, get people trained up appropriately. Commissioner Admin?
Yeah, I'm totally comfortable with that as well. If chiefs are in agreement that is the model that they think is going to provide adequate service, and that's the time frame that makes the most sense, I think I'm totally comfortable with that. And as we go through the process, I don't think it's irreversible. If we discover we need to make a change or something, we can make that change. But maybe we work towards that goal with whatever time frame makes the most sense, and then act on more information as we get it.
So it sounds like it's appropriate. I'll continue to work with Chief Cowan and DC Nankervis and Foster, and we'll determine kind of what is ideal for that transition time, and then our decisions will be based on that.
Thank you. This provides us the flexibility to make sure that we're setting up for success.
And
Excellent. Thank you, Chief.
just one thing I'd like to point out, though, is we need to get that information if we're going to put it in the ILA. So you guys need, the 2 chiefs, if you can put that together and get it to us for the negotiation part of the contract, please.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you, Commissioner Webster, on that.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions for the chiefs? All right, moving on, item 5.5, an update from the negotiation team. I believe that's our legal, Commissioner Webster and Chief Morris.
Okay, I can speak to that. Our legal counsel is out of town and will be back, I believe, today. He'll be back for a meeting tomorrow. So we've had one meeting, started the process. And then tomorrow we have a meeting with Chief Cowan at 9 o'clock, and then our negotiating committee, Chief Morris, myself, and Matt Paxton will be meeting at 10 o'clock and continuing the discussion. So that's where we sit today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, item 5.6, update from the, I'm sorry, Chief
I'm
Cowan?
sorry, I just wanted to add, I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of, we have a regionalization committee that's meeting. I know that that's been mentioned before. We have a retreat coming up on Thursday as well. I feel like I've been taking a lot of notes of the things that we have agreed to and consensus that, may or may not be needed to include in the ILA, but just how we operate and how we work together on a street level. So I just want to applaud the efforts of both all of the North Shore personnel and Shoreline personnel that are working together collaboratively to address all these issues. We've made a lot of progress. I'm hoping that we even make more at the retreat on Thursday. And my plan would be to kind of summarize some of these points and then send them out to both boards to start, looking at and just so that you're in the know of what has been at least tentatively agreed to.
Excellent, thanks, Chief. Commissioner Admin?
And I would just ask at some point, maybe we can get an update on what our time frame looks like. I don't think that we have to accomplish, and it sounds like realistically probably won't accomplish necessarily March 1, but maybe we could just kind of get an update on what that time frame looks like at some point.
Yeah, so I definitely would do that. We might have more of a handle on it after our meeting tomorrow. And we'll schedule more negotiation committee time with Matt Paxton, and we'll get back to you. If we have a special meeting, we might be able to have a timeline by then.
Excellent, thanks. Okay. Anything else on item 5.5 from the negotiation team? Okay, item 5.6, update on administrative activities not covered. Our subcommittee. It's Commissioner Webster and Commissioner Byers, I believe. Probably not a lot, considering you haven't met with the negotiating team yet.
We haven't had a chance to meet at all on that, and so we'll try and get that in starting next week.
Okay. All right. Item number 6, board resolutions. We have none. Item number 7, our consent agenda. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands, and it's been seconded. Any discussion? Nope. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And aye. Okay, unanimous. Reports. Item 8, Fire Chief Morris.
Yeah, report was submitted. Just a couple comments before take questions if there are any. Our HR manager, Shannon Morris, participated in the NEMCO emergency manager interviews. Unfortunately, they did not hire anyone, so that position is still vacant. I had a conversation with Lake Forest Park Police Chief Harden today, talking about that, and they're bouncing around some ideas. And one of the things they want to do is to speak with potentially Chief Cowan and City of Shoreline, because they have recently filled their position, and maybe there is some integration that they can pursue, and maybe a shared workload, or one person can handle all of it for all agencies involved. So we have ongoing conversations about that. And the other one was something I had brought up regarding North King County Training Consortium. I'd like to reach out to the fire chiefs and make sure that North Shore retains representation and a vote, even after and when we contract for service with Shoreline, for a number of reasons. But one of the biggest is the consortium is housed within our facility, and it has a significant impact to our facility, our training grounds, and the impacts to the personnel here as well. So I think it's fair that North Shore retains a vote even after we are represented by the Shoreline Fire Department. Other than that, I'm open for questions or comments.
Commissioner Byers.
Yeah, I was just curious who that person would be. Would that be an appointed person from the board? Would that be one of the Shoreline personnel? What's your vision on that?
So my vision, as long as we have a district or division chief here, that's one person that it could be, or it would come from, the vote would be passed by Chief Cowan, but after he briefed the board and received direction from the board, he could then bring that vote to the governing board of the training consortium.
Question on that is,
Commissioner Webster.
that's an ILA. Is that not correct that we have an ILA there? So that will have to be gone through the process of renegotiating an ILA. So
That's correct. That's correct. And I'm just looking for approval of me to pursue that process, because I think it's important that that gets ironed out and there's some agreement before we contract for service and potentially lose a vote and lose control of part of our facility.
Commissioner Wolin.
I think it's very important that we have a say in that still, since it is our facility. So I would definitely agree in moving forward with that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chief Morris, I too would lend my support to reaching out and seeing what you can accomplish there.
Great.
Maybe we want to add that as a future agenda item.
Certainly. Sounds good. Commissioner Byers, final thoughts on that? Direction for the chief?
No, I'm okay with him pursuing that and exploring those options.
All right, excellent. Anything else on your report, Chief?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Any commissioner reports? Seeing none. Legal counsel reports?
Commissioners, I don't have any legal report tonight.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Okay. Upcoming board agendas. First thing I'd like to address is the need for a potential special meeting. And I'm just wondering, the timing of this is dependent on the completion of the MOU. So Chief Morris, do you have an idea on when that might be able to be completed and when we could or should schedule a special meeting to approve that?
It should have been done tonight, so I apologize for that. I expected to get it back this afternoon, so I don't see why it won't be completed tomorrow. So as soon as you can legally have another special meeting, I would go for it.
Okay. Are we, how about Thursday? Is that a possibility, commissioners? Should be a very short meeting.
I will not be able to attend Thursday. But that doesn't mean the meeting can't take place.
I'm okay for Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thursday at 5 p.m. Commissioner Webster, Commissioner Byers,
We can do Thursday at 5.
okay. Commissioner Wool. Okay. Amy, let's get that published. Thursday evening, 5 p.m. Special meeting. Single agenda item of the MOU with local 2459. Okay. I would also like to see updates from our negotiating team and the subcommittee on administrative activities for our next regular meeting. Anything else that we need to add? Oh, update from Chief Morris on status of conversation with North King County Training Consortium chiefs. Anything else? Okay, seeing nothing. I would accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. We're adjourned.